Hello and welcome everybody to another edition of HHC Live. This is HHC Heroes in a Half Court, episode number 19. I am Chris. I will be joined in a little bit by my brothers, but they're just getting their stuff set up, so they'll jump in here a little bit. But we are here 10 a.m. on Sunday, like we are every Sunday, to talk some Spurs basketball. A good week. We had a really good week. We had said last week that we would know a lot more about our team in terms of what our makeup is, how we kind of play, or I guess how we're going to want to play for the rest of the season. And then more specifically, like what our playoff implications and all that kind of stuff was going to look like. And I would agree. I think that we definitely have a clear image in our head right now as opposed to last Sunday. So just a reminder, we do go live every Sunday on our Twitter, Facebook, and through Twitter, Facebook, and through our YouTube channel at Heroes Half Court at just about all of those. So go ahead and give us a follow or like it, or share the video on any of the platforms that you happen to be catching us on. Yeah, we really appreciate it. So I'm just gonna jump right in. Like I said, my brothers are gonna join in. At some point. So just overall, we had a pretty solid week. I mean, 3-1 is what I think all three of us. I still have them here from last week. Yeah, so all three, Joshua, Jakob, and myself, all had a prediction of 3-1 for the week. I would imagine if you asked us, or if you go back and watch the video last Sunday, that we were banking on that one loss probably coming from the Miami game, or maybe just, we could see it coming from that place. And so we did kind of exactly what we had hoped that we would do. We came out strong. We came out strong and kind of handled the things that we needed to do against Indiana, even though they're a formidable team. It was just we're just at the point of the year, like a lot of the other players are saying too, which is just, every game is important. We need to win. So we did a pretty good job about coming out with some good focus and taking care of Indiana. The Detroit game was another game that was kind of like one of those handle your business kind of things. They looked pretty thin most of the night. They had that 19-year-old down low, and we kind of took advantage of that. The Miami game, we'll definitely have some stuff to talk about, especially because Jake kind of watches them probably a little bit more than us. So getting a chance to see how they took advantage of us was kind of frustrating, but we'll have another shot at them pretty soon. And then last night, pretty good game in terms of taking what we knew was an important game, and again, just doing the things that we needed to do to get the win. So I was pretty pleased overall. I'll have more to kind of elaborate for each game, but let me go ahead and bring these boys in here.
Yo.
What's up, y'all?
So, yeah, how you guys doing?
I'm doing pretty good. A busy week, but a very fun week for me. So,
yeah, man, I'm good. I'm just ready to talk some Spurs. Get in it.
Yeah. We got Josh with his favorite anime in the back.
Oh yeah.
All right. Well, I just spent a couple seconds kind of just talking about the my general thoughts. I thought we had a pretty good week. I think it went right in line with what we were saying last Sunday. In terms of we all predicted us going 3-1 because we needed to go 3-1, and so I think we did a lot of what we hoped we would do. So I don't know, Josh, just off top, what are some of your general thoughts for the week we had?
I mean, I believe, like, when I text Jakob last weekend about what my predictions were, I thought we were going to lose to Miami. I didn't want to lose to Miami. I never want to lose the game. But if any of the games on the schedule that we had coming up, I saw that Miami game. It was kind of a scary one for us, and it was not Jim. Bam he whipped their ass all day and all night, man. It was kind of ridiculous, but it is what it is. I feel like overall, it's okay. I feel like we're getting better. Hopefully, like, at the right time. Hopefully, we just keep on. We could put together some wins. I know. I saw a tweet and I was gonna send it to y'all guys that we like jumped the Rockets for like we have the toughest remaining schedule. I know they were ahead of us. I know we were still 1-2, but still, so that's rough. That's rough coming up. But I feel like we're playing better. Like DeMar played great last night. He's our closer, like he's always been. But I mean, we're gonna see what's gonna happen.
Yeah.
And I saw you tweet. I believe you tweeted right off the account. That we talked about where we're gonna be in the standings, right? Like 8, 9, 10. And there's honestly like if you look at it, there's a chance for 7. The Dallas is not. It's not too far out of our reach. If
I believe.
right.
I believe. Go ahead.
I'm just saying, if we win and they get a couple losses here and there, it's gonna help us. I mean, we gotta handle our business first, right? And then just hope that they could drop somewhere. But yeah, I mean, seven's not out of reach. We're right there. I still think we're gonna make the playoffs. I know Jake's been saying no playoffs for us, but I still think we're gonna get in at least the play-in. I don't know if we're gonna go past that, depending on who we get. Who knows if we get Steph and he hits 33s on us, but
and it feels like I might be on a slight delay from you both, Josh and Jake. So I'll try to manage that and not step on you too much. But like you were saying, Josh, I think it was Dan Weiss in the post game stuff yesterday, or maybe it was or Rick, whoever was running the stuff. But he had said like mathematically we're closer to Dallas than we are to New Orleans now. So it's like like you said, over the last 13 games, depending on who's feeling good, because I mean Dallas is a little inconsistent. Spurs, Warriors, like they all are, and that's something that I wrote in my notes as well too. So I mean, Jake, what were some of your overall thoughts for the 3-in-1 week we had?
Yeah, it was pretty good. I'll kind of continue on what Josh was saying in terms of the play-in stuff. I think it's pretty set in stone who the teams are that's going to be in those. Like you might not know what the placement is for them, but you know that it's going to be like the Spurs, Warriors, Grizzlies, Mavericks, or Blazers, right? Depending on who's able to get out of there. And maybe even LA if they end up maybe even LA if they end up like kind of still dropping off the way that they've been these last couple games.
Yeah.
But and obviously if LA makes it, well then that's like I feel like at that point that's a team that you count those guys into the playoffs and not getting knocked out by a team like the Grizzlies, the Warriors, or us.
Anything happen, man.
Anything happens, but at the same time, like that's a team that should be a 1 or 2 seed, and right now they're just getting knocked down because of injury. So
and we kind of talked about that, like I would say like 2 or 3 weeks ago, like right when the LeBron and AD injuries were pretty fresh. We had mentioned, even if it was just offhand, like you could see them continuing to slide to now have to be in that playoff picture that is like that 6-7 kind of picture versus the top 5 or whatever, top 4. Yeah. So, I mean,
and I don't even think, well, this is my personal opinion, right? I don't even think those guys are hurt. They're just resting them up. Well, AD's back, obviously. He's back now. But I feel like LeBron could play if he wanted to play.
And maybe. So, I mean, that just kind of shows, though, that, like, I don't think they're scared of any of the teams that they would have to face if they drop down to play-in.
Well, still, I mean, but still, you just take yourself out of home court. I mean, I know it means not too much now that the fans aren't all there, but LA just let fans back in. And that little bit of fans would want it, I know they would rather play a home game than
and the idea is you're hoping that if the stuff with fans, or I guess just in combination with the pandemic, that the further you go into the playoffs, that you get more and more fans, right? So hopefully that would mean that home court means more and more as it goes deeper. Yeah, but I half agree with you because I could definitely see them making that decision of like, hey, you could come back, but we're gonna hang you out just for a little bit longer because we're so close to postseason and it's been a long year and they just went to the finals last year and all that. But at the same time, I do find it a little tough to think like that they would be willing to take a lot of those losses. But maybe they just felt they built a cushion, and like Jake said, they don't feel fretted by really anybody.
Not so worried about nobody.
Yeah. All right. Well, is there anything big that you guys want to throw out there? I didn't really write anything down for the I didn't really write anything down for the Pacers game or for the Detroit game. Well, actually, sorry, just the Pacers game. That Miami game, like, to be honest, other than the last couple minutes, I thought that was well. I don't know. Yeah, I would say even after the games that followed, that might have been like my favorite game to watch so far this year, just because like it was real competitive. I think that Miami obviously plays like more cohesive than a lot of other teams. And they kind of have to, right? Because they're not like overwhelming you with like size and like they have stars on their team, but it's just a little bit different, right? And that's apparent for the point of like how people saw them and not thinking they were going to be able to make it all the way to the finals, and them doing it. It's because they play really well together. So it was great to be able to see us kind of compete with them. They were making us work hard all night long on the defensive end. So like those are some of the things that I was like super into watching DeRozan and Butler go a little one-on-one for like a lot of that first part of the game was just super fun to me. So I was pretty excited about that. The things that kind of bugged me though was just like our indecisiveness, right? It's like we allowed Miami to kind of make us double guess most of our drives, and so like that's the kind of stuff that I want to start to see ironed out as we get closer to the play-in stuff. But I don't know. Do you guys want to comment on that or have anything to add for that Miami game?
So I personally have a topic at hand.
Yeah, Jake was at the game. Jake was at the game. So he saw it firsthand.
I was at the game, and it was very fun to watch the first two quarters. I was super happy watching the first two quarters. I was very upset because Devin didn't get to play. I brought my Devin jersey and everything, and then no Devin minutes until like the very end. But I want to talk about our kryptonite, which I feel like is the 2-3 zone. At this point on this team, there's only like, I would say, 2 respectable shooters getting rotational minutes, and that is Derek and Patty. Well, you could also say Rudy, but depending on how it's going.
Can you say that one more time? Sorry.
Like your respectable shooters on this team, I feel like are Derek, Patty, and then you could probably put Rudy in there as well. And so then that brings it up to just three guys on this team that, like, teams are probably at least game planning a little bit for it and saying we got to make sure that we're not letting Derek White get open threes. We're making sure that we're not letting Patty or Rudy get open threes. But everybody else, it's honestly fair game. If they make a 3, the other teams take it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If DeJounte makes a 3, if Keldon makes a 3, if DeMar shoots a 3, they're just like, oh, we live with that. But like, that's the thing that I'm getting at is our kryptonite is the zone. And Miami clearly showed how it whooped us in the last 2 quarters of that game. And I feel like that's just something that I think we probably need to bring up on how consistent our shooting can get, Like,
so are you saying the only way to beat a 2-3 zone is to shoot the 3 ball?
I'm saying that we need to be able to have respectable shooters, not just 2-3. Not just the 3 ball, but having somebody who's able to shoot the ball better it's gonna help. Like, I mean, the fact that
go ahead. Well, I was just gonna say, like, I think that it's like a compound issue. It's not that it's the only way, but it's that teams understand that maybe we don't have the strongest 3-point shooters, or we just don't shoot nearly as often as other teams. So it's like they're playing into that, right? It's like, well, this team, we can bait them into shooting those threes and hope that they settle into it because that's something that they don't feel comfortable doing anyway. You know what I mean?
And then they have Bam Adebayo to sit in their paint on that zone where we're a team that likes to attack the rim. So if we're attacking one of the better defensive centers in the league, 9 times out of 10, that's not going to be good for them, or that's not going to be good for us. You know what I mean? So I think that's one of the things that I don't know what is one way that we're going to be able to fix that this year if we end up finding that in the play-in tournament. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, I would say look at the New Orleans game. They ran some of that stuff towards the beginning of the game, and we did a good job of just like passing with more energy, being a little bit more decisive. And like my biggest thing, and something that I wrote, is just that our guys do they need to be willing to shoot the 3, right? So like when I look at Derek White and his last, I would say 1, 2, 3, 4 games since let's say since the Pacers. So just the games that we played this week, his 3-point attempts are at 11 and then 8, 8, and 8. And like I would, in my opinion, I need him to stay at the minimum like 8 for the rest of the year. Even if he goes 2 for 8, even if he go, you know what I mean, for a game or whatever, I think that's what we need. You know what I mean? We need to just have somebody out there to be especially we've been talking all year long about like maybe putting Derek White as the secondary point guard on the bench, and it's like if he's going to be out there starting alongside DJ and DeMar and Keldon, then yeah, he has to shoot. I think he is. I think that they get the memo. It feels like DJ is shooting more. It feels like White is shooting more. I would want for Keldon to shoot more too. Not necessarily that he's got to fall in love with it, but just to keep the defense on their toes and try to hit some lanes up for himself.
I feel like Keldon is a decent shooter. If he's out there and he's taking threes, like I don't want him taking like no step back Steph type threes, but if he's taking threes, I don't mind Keldon shooting the ball.
Same.
Like,
I think he passes a little bit too much.
Yeah, but he's shown the ability. Like he knocks him down. Like he has a pretty looking shot. He has a nice arc. Like he's not like no scrub out there. So like
I think Keldon's shot is probably the streakiest out of our guys right now. It's like the one that's like he'll either be kind of on it and you'll see him be able to consistently shoot for a couple games, or you'll see this slump. And we saw that
if he's streaky, then he could easily go on a hot streak. At the right time, hopefully in that playoff, or whenever that is.
That's why I'm just hoping, because that's kind of at this moment, that's kind of what we have to hope for right now, is that one of our guys like White or DJ or Keldon kind of gets hot a little bit, and like Josh said, like you can't get hot if you're not shooting them. You know what I mean? So like I just want for the rest of the year, I think that we all as a team, we need to shoot more 3-pointers. And if we know that it's not going to come from DeMar DeRozan, I think we've been doing a better job of just not even like really putting him in that position anyway. And it's like, if you're gonna have those other guys, the other guys have to become the 3-point shooters.
He took a couple last night, right? Then DeMar. I don't think he made it.
I know. I saw him take 1 3, but it like I think it like fell off. I was like,
he threw it over the backboard.
There was a shot. I want to say at the end of the day, it was a 2-pointer. This was against maybe Indiana. I can't remember. It was like earlier in the week, but they kind of found him on the weak side. The pass was a little off, so he kind of had to like reach for it, bring it, but he kind of like reached for it and brought it right into like a rhythm jump shot. But it was like, right out there, feet on the 3-point line kind of thing. And it's like, those are the kind of shots when he catches it and he's kind of just like in rhythm, lets it go. Like you give him 2 to 3 of those attempts a game too, like those 3-pointers. If it's in the flow of the offense, you're like, take him, because we just he
needs to take him. If he's out there open, he better take the shot.
exactly. And I will say about more towards Jake's point about the zone in particular, Matt Bonner was talking in the post game after, and he was saying normally like we have a plan for how to attack a zone. We have a plan for how to attack like a full court press. He was like, but they were kind of doing like a little bit of a mixture of the two. It was like a 3/4 court press that just like bled into this zone, and that it just like was giving them fits, right? They couldn't really get a handle of it. So I mean, I would have faith. I would have faith in our guys or in our coaching and all that kind of stuff, that a month from now that's not going to look the same. But the only other thing that I kind of wanted to bring up for the Miami game, or Josh, unless you had anything else that you wanted to add, is okay. So just kind of talking, and it'll kind of bleed into some of the other things, but I think a lot of games this week that just had instances, not 100% like where you can just say it's black or white, this one's better, this one's worse, but there was just a lot of instances, in my opinion, where it showed the downside of like the small ball era, and case in point being like, okay, I know that who do we play? They were missing Plumlee. They're Detroit, right? They were missing Plumlee. They were missing Grant, right? So they were missing size for sure. But even like, okay, going back to that Miami game, they had that Okpala listed as their power forward, right? And like, and like, there's just so many times out there where it's like, we should have been attacking their size a lot more. I think that we did a much better job of like literally being on the offensive against Detroit size, and I wish we would have done that against Miami, because even though Miami's maybe their defense is more cohesive and they're pretty stout and they play with energy, I don't think we did them any favors. We were very timid at the rim, and it's a game like that when you have like Okpala getting as your four. We see what it looks like on the other end where he gets blocked twice in one possession. It's like that's the size that they were bringing to the table, and I don't think that we did a good job of trying to put any pressure on that size.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And I think it bled into the Detroit game because I think we flipped the script. We did go after their size. You know what I mean? But yeah, I don't know if you guys want to speak on that at all.
So, well, it's just whenever you're talking, like you brought up 2 points, you know, that we were not prepared for this and that as far as your press and then into the zone, right? You're saying that we were not prepared for that, and then we're not attacking size, and I feel like that does not go on the players. Like that's coaching to me. If you're not prepared for something.
Well, maybe, but at the same time, it was like as like you would put it on the players to feed the hot hand. You got at some point you got to, you know, if you know that the coaches give them freedom to like maybe they don't call a play on every single possession. Well, then at some point, like as a team, I would feel that they would try to find those strong points.
Right, but that's something that could easily be like brought up in a timeout. Like you know like. So, I think that goes on Pop, right? To say, what the hell are y'all doing? You know, feed whoever has whoever in the post. You know, because you know that goes on the other side. You know, like sometimes like I believe you brought it up, like when we're talking about Luka being at the 4, and you brought it up, Chris. You're saying, well, if Luka's on the 4, they're going to attack him all the time because he's a little guy. Like so at least you think that the other coach is going to see something and then bring it up, and then so we need to do that. You know, if we see something, we have to attack that. And I believe, I understand what you're saying, right? As a player, when you're on the court, you're like, oh, feed that guy. But during that timeout or whatever, dead ball, like Pop needs to be on their ass, and he needs to let them know that we need to do these things.
And I'm not even saying like we have to give it to Jakob in the post or something like that. But even if you just look at the Detroit game, Jakob Poeltl was so involved in every possession. And I think it was honestly I think it was because of that. I would hope that it was because of an adjustment that we made from the Miami game going to the Detroit game. But he was just so much more involved and was able to put the defense in compromising positions because he's the biggest guy out there all the time, or he was at least, you know what I mean, during those games. So I mean, like, bleeding into that Detroit game, there was just so much more time that we took advantage of their size. I just want to see that more because we had talked about it before. You know, I've heard Jake and Josh, both of you guys say like, well, not every team has an AD and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, okay, good. Like these were 2 examples. I know you guys were saying like Bam was giving us fits down low, but like, Bam is not is not big enough, or we just didn't do enough to even really test him to say like that he was holding it down, if that makes sense. Like, well, I mean, like maybe it was his intimidation that just kept us out of there. Yeah. And I would give the defense of Miami credit for that, but I do think that we did not do them any favors, or I should say we did them a lot of favors in our approach. Like we were way too willing to just like if there was any resistance, it was looking to pass, and that some of those problems have continued. I mean, how many times did we see last night? I even tweeted it last night. It's like our young guys, they just sometimes they run into the paint with no intention of shooting the ball, and it's like, like what you're telegraphing that to the defense so much over the course of a game. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so to kind of, I guess, like just be on the other side of that point, like just from watching the game, from being there at the game, it honestly felt like the second that they did the 2-3 zone, like it was just kind of like a combination of factors that made us not attack as much. Because like obviously we like attacking the rim, but we're like, why would we just aimlessly attack the rim when Bam Adebayo is just sitting in the paint? And then like honestly, when we did try it, it just didn't work. Like honestly, there was so many times where it just looked like I feel like I would see DJ or DeMar like attack the rim, and it would just it would just kind of go off the rim, and it was just like, man, like what is the determining factor there? And for me, it was like the 2-3 zone and Bam just being able to sit in the paint and jump and be contesting enough for them. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I get that, and my only like thing that I would say is like, you had said about like aimlessly running into the paint. It's like, well, don't aimlessly run into the paint. Like go, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like
Have
if you see
intention, right?
yeah, exactly. Have an intention, even if it's to go and challenge that guy at the rim. Okay, either one of two things are going to happen. I'm going to score. Or I'm gonna score, or I'm gonna get fouled. Like if you have that in your brain, or three things are gonna happen, or you're gonna block me. You know what I'm saying? It's like, okay, put your defender in that position. You know what I mean? Like we never even there was zero. We never even got to that point. And maybe again, it's because their zone had a couple layers to their defense, and we never even really got a chance to challenge that inner layer.
And
you know what I mean?
Know now, right? And now, like today's NBA, a lot of the time it goes to the offensive player. If we were to just attack Bam,
yeah, exactly,
and he's on the bench, just like Yak is half the time, like.
Yeah.
Then they probably would have fell out of that zone, and then there goes their game plan.
Yeah, exactly. That's it. We just never even challenged it to the point to be able to say like, well, they just beat us at that thing. It's like we never even try. In my opinion, we never even just got to that point. And I know what you're saying. There was a couple times where they would go into the paint, and it looked like they were trying to get a shot up because it ended up with just like people hands all over the ball, and you know what I mean. Like they were just getting swarmed. I saw a lot of that too. But I mean, I don't know. There was just there was too many times where all of that tangling up that they were doing is because our guys were not going in with one goal. They were just going in like already looking around, looking for where they're going to throw the ball to. And it's like, you know what I mean? It's like you're making the defensive's job easier. And if you do that again and again and again and again over the course of the game, you know what I mean? It just adds up.
That's a recipe for a blowout.
Yeah, you know what I mean. So, so anyways, but bleeding into like just the size argument, and I know I've been harking on this like a lot, right? So we had one game where we didn't get DeMar and Patty. So Rudy was in there, right? And Rudy was kind of holding down the his normal positions that he does. But we got a chance to see a little bit more Luka, not that much. But even like in that game, right? So in that game, and then we had last night's game where Rudy Gay did not play. Like I don't know, like as soon as when I was watching those games, like I'll take last night's for example, since Josh has to get out here a little earlier today. When I was looking at last night's game, it's like, okay, no Rudy Gay. All the people that have been talking about Vassell and Luka all year, in their opinion, and Jake, correct me if I'm wrong, it should have been just like a direct like slide those guys in. Luka's getting Rudy's minutes, and it still didn't play out that way. Like, so I'm just wondering, like, what is? You
know what I think that has a lot to do with that? I feel like Drew has been playing super freaking good, right? And I feel like he's just like
he doesn't. I don't think
he's up some of those 4 or 5 minutes.
I don't think he is at all, though. He's not. Like
he's not what?
He's not taking any of Rudy's minutes. He's just taking the backup center minutes.
Yeah.
Like it's not like
isn't that what Chris said? Rudy was playing the backup center minutes.
No. Well, no, because Rudy was playing backup center when we still had LaMarcus on the team. And we weren't playing LaMarcus. Like that was like in that time period when we weren't playing Drew or LaMarcus.
Yeah. So now it's basically Drew Eubanks backing up Jakob. Rudy Gay backs up Keldon Johnson in that 4 spot. Like but anyways, but I mean last night it's like in my opinion, it took Luka Samanic and Vassell and a little bit of Drew Eubanks to kind of like spell the things that Rudy Gay normally does for us. You know what I mean? And even though you're gonna see Rudy Gay get burned by some of these younger guys and all that kind of stuff. Like you're gonna see it. You're gonna see him take a couple ISO shots that are not in the flow of the offense. But I don't know. It was just very apparent to me over the past couple of games, like. Not necessarily that that he deserves the minutes over the young guys or whatever, but it just shows me so that like I wouldn't be ready to give the reins over to like a Luka. Like he's still not ready for it. Like in my opinion.
Yeah, I understand where you're saying he's not ready, but like to me, what you just said, like you said, well, yeah, he's gonna get burned by a couple of, he's gonna get burned a couple of times. He's gonna take a couple ISOs. Like that was the difference right there. Like it's not like we won. Like it was like like we didn't like blow him out or anything like that. We didn't have a good cushion. Like if Rudy would have took 2 of those ISOs and then bam, we're on a fast break with Zion and Lonzo, like we would lose that game last night.
Well, I mean, specifically about last night, I think that Luka did not do like Luka got burned 2 or 3 times. That's why he didn't play. You know what I mean? Like Luka couldn't hang out there with Zion. He was too small, in my opinion. He was too small to be out there at the 4.
Jacob was me and Jacob were talking about this, right? Because we missed the first
we missed
the first quarter. We missed the first quarter because we were working, and then when we got home, when we put it on, and Luka was guarding Zion, but Zion was running the point like. They would just inbound the ball to him.
Yeah, he was running point.
He's bringing the ball up, right? So when you give Zion that full head of speed, there's nobody guarding him, like nobody. And then we saw what happened. Like Luka had a nice rip through, then he had the dunk, and then he came down, and then he had a foul, and he sat him. Well, Zion brought the ball right back up, and he went right into Yak, and he's right back at the free throw line. So it didn't matter who was guarding him. He's just Zion. He's everybody's small, like. To him, even Yak in a way, he's like, he's just so strong.
To add on to that point, though, those 5 minutes that Luka gave, I feel like even though obviously it's Zion, and all you can do is just hope that you hold him down as much as you can.
I feel like that's a losing.
I saw the stuff that Luka was doing out there, and I was like, oh, well, he's at least you're not seeing Luka, he's getting hit and stuff like that, and you can see that he's getting eaten in the paint. But at the end of the day, like you saw the shot that he took, and Luka was still able to contest a little bit. And it's just like, all right, at that point, that's all you can ask for from Luka for playing against Zion. And obviously there's going to be other guys that are going to try to do the same thing. And at that point, though, it does become, well, is Luka strong enough, or can he hold his own with this guy, or is this guy even going to be putting himself in the paint against Luka, right? And I honestly think that this game I feel like would have been good with or without Rudy. I think Rudy's inside presence might have been able to help a little bit on just a couple of their drives that I saw, but because there was that one play where Luka did get beat by, I think it was Frank Jackson. And I don't think Rudy gets beaten up like that. Like Rudy will at least, keep him from pushing himself in the paint at that point. But at the same time, it was still a contested shot. It wasn't like a bad contested shot from Luka. Luka still held his own against that guy who was a little bit faster and got a good contested shot up there.
Yeah, and I mean, kudos to our guys, man. Kudos to our guards for sticking tight on Brandon Ingram all night, on Lonzo Ball all night, on Zion from the perimeter most of the time.
Derek locked
and DJ. Like DJ had to work hard all night on defense.
And a couple of those fouls like that Derek got, they were whack.
They were super whack, man. I saw that one play
super soft, super whack.
Locked Brandon Ingram down, man. And
the one where me, you, and Juan were watching, right? Where DJ already had the ball, they're running the fast break, and they called a foul on Derek. I'm like, what the heck?
What the heck? It was.
It was pretty much just like one swipe at the ball and it came loose, right, or something like that.
Yeah, and it was. And DJ was already out running, and there goes the damn whistle.
Yep. It was so upsetting.
The ref calls yesterday were crazy, man. There was one where it looked like he was getting ready to call the basket off. He went like this, and then he stopped and then it went in, and he stopped what he was doing, and he blew the whistle okay, it's good. I'm like,
yeah, or the DeMar, right? The DeMar 3-point play that took forever for them to decide. It was
literally one or two possessions after they just gave Bledsoe the continuation.
Yeah, I was and then another one too where Drew Eubanks went. I feel like he went straight up, right, and he got elbowed in the mouth, and
Yep.
foul on Drew, and I was like, what the hell's going on here?
Yeah, I was surprised because normally that we see that stuff happen to Yak, right? And so I was pretty excited that last night he wasn't at least one that was in the foul trouble, because that would have just been like compound. Because then everybody's looking at Zion. Zion was already giving us fits. Now all of a sudden you take away. Now all of a sudden you activate Steven Adams. You know what I mean? Because everybody's looking at Zion. We got no Yak or something like that. You know what I mean? And that's the thing that like. Part of and I know that, you know, this is probably a point of strength for New Orleans and probably how they can attack teams next year more consistently. But I mean, the amount of pressure that Zion puts and like on your perimeter guys, getting them into foul trouble and all that kind of stuff. Like I think that he bulled past Jakob once, but I think that Jakob was playing very timid at the rim against Zion. Like you see that guy go and challenge full-fledged 100% guys that are running at him to dunk, and he was just conceding, in my opinion, like a lot. And maybe because he knows he's got Adams on his back. But I mean, like, I don't know. I feel like they could do that a lot more. Like, I feel like we had to play real timid in the third and fourth, and they were allowed to play really aggressive just because of the type of ball that they were playing earlier in the game. You know what I mean? So I wish that we would I wish that we would have kind of pushed back against them a little bit more on that. And if they start to call fouls on us, I mean, I guess, you know, I mean, you kind of go into the game thinking that the superstars are going to get those calls anyway, but I don't know, because I mean, it really is just a lot about size. I mean, Zion right now at the moment, he's got his like one or two moves. It's like that hard, real, just like almost like a drop step, but he kind of does it, you know, just squared to the basket and goes right at it. He's a lot of fun to watch too. But anyways, I just felt like with the. I just felt like with the Detroit game, with the big game, especially because Miami, like, they're not big, man. They really are not big. It's just they play really well together. So I would be interested to see, like, you know, we're looking ahead to these games that we got this week. I would be interested to see, are we going to attack Miami differently? And I really do emphasize the word attack. Like, I want to see us challenging them at the rim, forcing, you know, put the same way I just talked about. New Orleans gives themselves a shot to be aggressive at the end of the game because of how they play. I would like for us to try to do that.
Mm-hmm. Well, we're talking about anyways, the New Orleans game.
All right. Well, it's you know, it's 10:40. Jake, you want to go ahead?
Yeah. We were talking about the New Orleans game. I just kind of want to bring up Yak versus Steven Adams. I saw it on Twitter, and I kind of wanted to just bring it up. Like, who do we think is a better player? I feel like this season you could say that Yak is the better player, but I kind of want to go like, let's just say Steven Adams is in a position where he's kind of like Jakob, instead of having to play with a guy like Zion as his four, like a guy who has four, you know, Steven Adams with four like forward/guards that can all like kind of move around on the perimeter and stuff like that, and not have to play inside as much. And I just want, like, you know, who do y'all think would be a better player of Yak or Steven Adams? You know,
this is hard for me because, like, I've always liked Steven Adams. And I'm not trying to hate on Yak, but like, if I had the chance to get a guy like Steven Adams on my team, I'm not saying I would give up Yak for him. I'm not saying anything like that, but like, I would love Steven Adams on any squad that we got. You know, I pick that guy all day, every day, man. He does little things that, like, and that Yak does too. You know, like solid screens, man. But he's just like I don't know what the big difference is between them. Like, I really couldn't. I feel like they're a little bit of the same player, right? They're just like, they're the same players, but
it's like, the way that I see it is, I think Jakob's a little bit better of a paint defender, and Steven Adams is a little bit stronger with better rebounding. Like, he's able to just kind of get himself into those positions.
So it's a wash.
I mean, honestly, it's kind of hard to say, like, you know, who you think his. I couldn't tell you what Steven Adams' offensive game is. We know what Jakob's offensive game is, and it's not like limited, but it's not strong, you know. So it's like, you know, his little pop shots that he's got and his little taps around the rim. But I guess one of the things that you could say is Steven Adams will dunk the ball. So I mean, you know, like,
hey man, to be fair, Yak has been booming lately.
He has been dunking them a couple times, but like, it's still, you know, like you could take that as a factor, is to say why you would want Steven Adams over him, just because Steven Adams is a little bit more aggressive at the rim.
He is more aggressive. He is way more aggressive.
So,
yeah, and I feel like our guys would get that guy. Just like we put Yak in like good positions, whereas sometimes it's like, man, just take one dribble and throw that ball down, and he's kind of like rushes it. I feel like Steven would do exactly that, throw that ball down.
Mm-hmm. And I think it I think like the fact that I'm saying this, I think this is a good comparison as to what we think Jakob can be, full potential. You know what I mean? Like once he starts building himself up, like that's when you'll start seeing like OKC Steven Adams. You know what I mean? Like the Steven Adams that was just a big guy out there, set good screens, had nice looks around the rims, solid at rebounding, but this guy will be better at defense. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think this is a solid comparison enough for us to say that, like, I think this is what we could bring with Yak, and we saw how good those teams were of just Russell Westbrook, Steven Adams, and role players. You know what I mean? Like they brought that team to a 6 seed, but now you kind of flip it and you have Jakob, all these solid guys in our young core, but not a Russell Westbrook talent yet. You know what I mean? And you can see where I feel like that's something that you could start seeing our team kind of become into, for me at least. You know what I mean? A solid 6th, 5th seed team fighting in those first rounds. Obviously, I think our team would be way better than any Russell Westbrook led team, just because I don't think Russ is, at least. I mean, it showed that Russ just couldn't win like that the way that he was playing.
Don't talk bad about him, dog, because we're playing him like tomorrow and he's gonna fucking have a quadruple double or something.
Right. Honestly, he's been killer these last couple games. So we'll see.
You were kind of cutting in a little bit in and out for me, Jake. But I mean, I would agree, and especially like the more pressure we can apply on teams from the perimeter makes Jakob's job easier. You know what I mean? So like at least offensively, you know what I mean? Like if we continue to improve, we'll put him in better shots to get more follow-ups, or to maybe have a little bit more space to feel confident to take a drop step and throw it down or whatever, or, you know what I mean? So yeah, it would be cool to see him develop. And yeah, I, in terms of like having to pick one of them, they're pretty much very comparable to each other. You know what I mean? So I'd be happy with either one. I do like the finesse. I do like the finesse angle, because you can he's always going to be tall, so it's like if you can have him with a little bit of touch and kind of add the aggression later, I think that might be a little easier than to have a guy who's aggressive and try to teach him how to have touch around the rim. Right. Not to say that Adams doesn't have touch, but I just don't see it all the time. You know what I mean? But yeah, so but yeah.
Well, I kind of wanted to get on.
All right, Jake. Well, I know you. Let's talk a little bit before he's. Go ahead, Jake. Sorry, it's a delay, so I'm just gonna let you talk.
No, yeah, it's fine. It's all good. But so the thing that I've been noticing, the thing that I was talking to our other brother Juan about, was our future with or without DeMar, and I think that this is something that I just kind of want to touch on right now, but like I want to bring up as a bigger topic later, a little bit after the season. And that's literally just like, what do y'all think? How do y'all think this team is gonna be with or without DeMar? And we don't, like I said, we don't really have to get too deep into it, but I just kind of want to talk like a little bit of like how you feel this team can do with or without him following this season. And we've gotten like a little sample size in a couple games, so that's why I want to talk about it a little bit.
Yeah, to me, okay, so I sent y'all guys that link, right, a couple of days back, like about Laurie, like if we sign him, and even in that article they said that we have no like that we would be better off to sign like on a team friendly deal for like 15, right? They say that he hasn't done enough to make X amount of money, but he, if we could get him, right here, then he'll be a perfect fit for us. And I feel like that is like super great if we do not have DeMar. Like that's how I feel. Like if we're gonna keep DeMar, then I don't think we go after that guy. But if we're gonna let DeMar walk and go do his own thing, like I feel like Derek and DJ next year, just playing under DeMar for these last couple years, I feel like they probably gained the most from that guy, like, so I think that they could easily step up and lead our team next year, like with the same I don't know what you said, like being a floor general, like DeMar has done, like, holding the ball in those late game situations. I feel like it could easily pass over to one of those guys, I feel like I'm hoping that they could be that guy. And then if you give those guys another like shooter on the outside at the 4, I feel like that'll put us in a good position to get out of this 9, 8, 9, 10, like get out of that and maybe move a little forward. I mean, we'll see. That's how I feel. But I mean, but at the same time, I think I told y'all guys, like, I would love to bring DeMar back and play him at the 2 and move KJ to the 3 and run that run 1, 2, 3 DJ DeMar and Keldon, and then we'll see what we do maybe in the draft, or who knows, what if we get a John Collins. That's another guy on my radar. I know we'll talk later about, once the season ends or whatever, about free agents, stuff like that. But I think DeMar and John Collins and our young guys will do some damage too. So I'm like, I don't know what I want yet. I'm gonna see how the playoffs go.
Sorry, I was muted. Was Jake's question like, would you prefer at this moment? Would you prefer next year to be with or without DeMar?
What does the future hold? What do you think? What do you want? What do you want, Chris?
Yeah. I mean, I guess I'm kind of like you in the sense that like I could see us being successful either way.
Depending on who honestly, we get or with what we have.
Yeah, I mean, it would be obviously, our roster would be different next year because we're not gonna. I don't think that we're gonna. Obviously, we're not gonna keep Trey Lyles. I don't think we'd keep Rudy Gay for all the stuff.
Is he under contract? So we have to trade him?
No,
Trey Lyles
I thought we signed him to a 2-year.
If I'm not mistaken,
this is his last year. I'm pretty sure. I'll look right now.
I didn't think he was on an expiring deal because remember we re-signed him. I swear that we re-signed him.
He did sign a 2-year deal, but it was for $11 million, and he made 5.5 2 years ago and 5.5 this year, and then he's an unrestricted free agent.
Oh wow! For some reason I thought we re-signed him.
Yeah. So anyway, so like Trey Lyles is a roster spot for me that'll be open. I feel all the things that you're saying about how the young guys needing to learn how to be a floor general and all that kind of stuff from Rudy. I think that from DeMar, I think that our big guys are learning a lot of how Rudy Gay is playing. Like, even if you don't like his production, I think that he's doing what the coaching staff is asking him to go out there and do. So I think that they're gonna, I would think that they're gonna move on from Rudy Gay next year and just take the lessons that they've learned from him this year and now give Luka more of that time, and most likely filling in his roster spot with somebody like somebody else, like a Laurie or a John Collins or a draft pick. But anyway, so I think we're gonna be better at the 4 regardless because Lyles is just not playing, and I think that we're gonna upgrade from Rudy just because of youth and all that kind of stuff. So with that being said, I can see DeMar staying on the team and us being successful. I would want more shooting on the starting lineup. I would want Derek White to go to the backup point guard so that we can have him setting up Lonnie. I would want Lonnie to shoot freaking 10 3-pointers from the second unit also. Like I want all that kind of stuff. So I mean, I could see us being successful with him, but I would agree that if we do get rid of DeMar, it's because now we're gonna really just put the reins on all those young guys. I do think though, if we get rid of DeMar, I think that I'll probably still think next year that we're front loading our starting unit too much. Like, I think that if we get rid of DeMar, they're gonna put one of our A1 young guys right up into his spot. So I mean, I don't know. I could see us being successful either way. If we keep DeMar though, I would want it to be with enough money to still try to give somebody another free agent a decent amount of a change to come in and help us, because I don't think a lottery pick's gonna come in and save us. I think they're gonna be a good contributing member, but I mean we're not gonna get. I don't think we're gonna we're not gonna get like a starter level guy right out the gate. I don't think.
First of all, we're not getting a lottery pick, so.
Or just our draft pick. Yeah, and honestly, like me, I feel like this year, Josh was saying, well, maybe that can change us and kind of push us ahead. I mean, we were the 6th seed this year, and just as easy as it was for us to fall from 6 to 10 at this past from the last month going backwards a month until the end of the year. we could end up way back up in the 6. You know what I mean? Like it's been so close all year. It just takes a few games. I mean, even in April, if you just look at our games in April, like other than the Miami loss and maybe one other one, those are the games where we lost in overtime, where we're losing by 2 points. You know what I mean? So it's like you switch the fates of a handful of games across those that stretch, and we are already a perennial 6 seed with our roster right now. You know what I mean? So it's like do I think that those moves push us into like top 5? I don't know. Maybe that will be dependent on how much our young guys develop and what they show us that's new after
what? You know who I
offseason.
think is gonna fall off this year? I've just seen a lot of people like sometimes they go like to the Dallas like Reddit, because they be interacting with the Spurs a lot,
Yeah.
And like a lot of those guys are down on Kristaps, man. I wonder how long he's going to stay in Dallas, and I wonder what they're going to do, because if Kristaps ends up leaving and they get nobody in free agency, and I saw that DeMar was linked to Dallas, I kind of would hate that, but I did see that for him to go play with Luka over there. But I don't know. What if those guys fall off some? And I feel like we have better other than Luka. I feel like overall we have better young guys in Dallas.
I mean, they could. I mean, so Luka has one more year
or 7. They're 7 right now, right? So and then Portland, I think, is 6.
I think as of like last night, I think Portland is below them now.
Oh, so Portland dropped to the 7th?
Yeah. Dallas is in the 6th seed, and they're 1 game ahead of Portland for this. They're one game ahead.
Like I can see us passing all those guys next year. But again, that puts us at a 6 seed. That puts us at a 6 seed at the best. You know what I mean? Like if Clay, who knows, man? That guy just has some bad luck. If Clay never comes back, like as Clay, like that means they're still paying him, and like that's cap that's gonna eat. You know what I mean? They're still paying him.
Okay. Yeah, you're not wrong about those injuries. Like I get what you're saying, but at the same time, like the shooters are literally like the most like that. I feel like that's the position that has the most time to be good in that sense.
Right,
you know what I mean?
Right. But
he might not be as elite shooting as he was.
Yeah, it's more about the shot creation. It's more about the pressure he puts on defense with his motion and all that kind of stuff. You know what I mean? We don't know if it's going to be as good.
Yeah. I understand he could stand there and hit the stroke, right? Obviously, if he's wide open, Klay Thompson, 9 out of 10 times he's gonna knock that bad boy down. But like, is he gonna be able to get to his spots the way he used to do? Is he gonna be able to handle all the cutting and everything? Because he's had some bad luck, man, this last couple of years. So if Klay does not come back as Klay, like even though they still got Steph and James Wiseman, and like I don't think they're gonna be, do you understand what I'm saying? Like I don't know if they're going to be Golden State for that much longer.
And they're going to have to make some decisions too with like they got Draymond Green on their books for the next 3 years, making $24, $25, and $27 million. Yeah. So next year they're going to have to make that decision of like, okay, obviously we have him here and we think that he's a linchpin to our offense, especially how he interacts with our shooters. So now they're going to have to make that decision next year. It's like, are we going to give him time now that Klay's back to see if he's still fitting in with our guys? And if that doesn't work, maybe they unload Draymond Green and have to, take in lesser players. So maybe they're, maybe they're taking some steps backwards, next year. Who knows? I would.
My point was that I just do think that, like, where we're at now, I feel like even though we're right now at 10, I feel like we're going up. Like we've had some bad losses this year, but I still feel like we're on the upside more than we are going down. You know what I mean? And
I would agree.
And I don't watch enough, right? So I don't know. I just see what I see and I kind of read what I read. But like I don't know if Dallas is on the way up, right? Like other than Luka, he's gonna keep on going. But as far as the whole team, like if they're
Yeah.
this way or going down.
And I would agree. Like the words that because I follow a few people that do the Mavericks game and all that kind of stuff. And I would say that, and I said this last week too on our show, is that like I feel like Dallas fans feel a lot like Spurs fans do right now, which is that they feel like they're inconsistent. They feel like they beat the good teams and lose to the bad teams. I mean, case in point, they just stepped up and beat the Lakers twice.
Right.
But then like just like a couple days before that, they're losing to teams that they feel like they should win.
I think that we're in a much better position because we don't even have Luka to be saying, "Oh, fuck, we're playing this bad."
Yeah.
Like, we don't even have one of those guys, and they do, and they're still, like,
and they have legit concerns over Kristaps' health. If he's in there, he's an impactful player. But how much over the course of his career, just in Dallas, can they rely on him to just be in the game?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I mean, I think that there's enough questions around, and I wrote that I said it out loud today too. Like I wrote it twice in my notes in two different ways. The first time I wrote it, I said perspective. We're gonna keep pace with Memphis, Golden State because we're all inconsistent, right? I said Jackson getting back changes things obviously for Memphis because they could be headed in a good direction as well. And then I wrote it again later on, like after last night's game, perspective. We're gonna be this close the entire season, even if we were the 6th seed, right? So it's like just. Like, I guess my point with that is, like, even if we were the 6th seed right now, and let's say we had been the 6th seed this whole time since we were the 6th seed earlier in the year, it's like 6 through 10, we're just like, there's the top 5 tier and then there's the bottom 5 tier. And this is just where we are now at this moment. And so, like, the reason I wrote perspective is because it's just helping me, like, I don't feel nearly as much like doomsday, the world is burning, oh my God, we're a 10th seed, we should fire Pop, oh my God, like all that kind of shit that we hear all year long, like I don't feel like that, you know what I mean? And it's just because 2 or 3 things go a different way and we're easily a 7th seed, you know what I mean? And we've seen that. How many years have we seen that before? You know what I mean? So it's like,
I'm not gonna lie. I never said I want to fire Pop, but man, I do feel like he is the reason that we are not the 7th seed and we're the 10th seed.
Well,
maybe not Pop. Like, it's not just Pop. I don't know who it is on the. I just feel like it's coaching in general. Like, not in more a lineup based. Like, man, I feel like we just have the wrong personnel out there for this game, and then we end up losing that game by 5 points, or whatever. And I'm like, man, if this guy was not feeling it, he's not feeling it. Why is he still in the game?
Maybe
why did it take so long
out there against the 2-3 zone because
it's the dance and the back and forth that the coaches have to do.
Yeah, I don't know.
Say it again, Jake.
I was saying, like, if Devin was out there because we need a shooter against a zone, like. That's all.
Little things. It doesn't matter. If that's your opinion, if that's for real your opinion, then that still goes on the coaching staff. Like not just you being funny. Like, yeah, we couldn't shoot.
I don't. Like, are you talking to me? Oh, Jake. Okay, sorry. I'm out of the loop because of the delay.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, Josh, you're kind of the media man.
It's all good, but yeah. So I mean, I
Yeah, well, unfortunately, guys, it is like 11 o'clock, right? And I told you, I gave y'all guys a little heads up that I have like some stuff to handle back in Seguin. I have to go home, so I got to cut out right now. I got to take my family back to the crib, but yeah, it was good. It was good talking to y'all guys. Good Spurs talk. I got. I'm just gonna take a look at the schedule. I'm gonna give y'all my
we got three. We got 3 games.
So we got Washington Monday, we got Miami Wednesday, and then we got Boston Friday. And those are all road games. So I think that, and I'm pretty sure that y'all guys feel the same way, that we've all played way better on the road than we have at home. Everybody talks about it. Sean and Bill and Matt, they all talk about how we're a better road team. So I do think we could handle our business versus Washington. I'm going to hope that we get our revenge game versus Miami. And then I'm gonna say like a 2-1. I think Boston or Miami could flip. I'm gonna hope that we could beat one of those guys. Boston, it has been inconsistent this year, but they've been playing better as of late. So like it's gonna be a toss up. We could easily go 1-2, or we can go 2-1. I mean, I do think we're gonna be Washington though. I feel pretty good about Washington at least.
Yeah, and all right, 2-1.
Yeah, I'm gonna say 2-1. I don't know, Miami or Boston. We're gonna get one of those dubs. If we go 3-0, man, I'd be a happy dude.
Yeah,
Me too.
Yeah. All right, Josh. We'll let you go, and we'll finish up. We'll probably wrap up a little early today too, Jake.
Yeah, hopefully, maybe when I get off or something, maybe that delay will fix, and then y'all could just chat it up.
Maybe, yeah. If not, then maybe we'll have to end early.
Yeah, but for sure. But all right, then, guys. Well, it was a good one. I'll see y'all guys next week.
Yeah, peace, Josh.
Peace.
All right, Jake. Well, let's see if we can keep it going with the two of us. Let me see.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I took my phone off Wi-Fi, so hopefully hopefully we're all right. All right. Well, Jake, looking ahead, it does feel like I think it does feel like we are on a little bit of a delay still, but if I can hear you talk, then that's totally fine. That we'll make it work. So looking ahead to this to the next 3 games, Josh already kind of set the table a little bit. I don't know how you feeling about Washington. Washington is in a very similar state as us, right? It's like they're in that play-in kind of area. They don't have any goals of missing the playoffs and going down. They want to make the playoffs. So like they're motivated, man. They're motivated just like we are. They got strong players in Russell Westbrook and Bradley Beal. They got Davis as a shooter. They just lost Denis, to an injury and stuff like that. So I mean, I don't know. What are you thinking about for Washington?
I think this should just be a game that I mean, like, I don't know. It really depends on Bradley Beal for me. Like, if Bradley Beal comes out, drops 40 on us, then it's going to be a close game. If Bradley Beal doesn't drop 40 on us and he just gets a solid 26, I think we can come in, take care of business, and beat Washington. I guess another factor is Russ. Like, if he does come in and do crazy stats, do crazy numbers and stuff like that, coming into Monday. But I'm not sure. I've never been a team. I've never been scared of the Wizards, and then I've never been scared of Russell Westbrook. Like I love Russ. I think that he's a phenomenal player, but I just don't like.
Mhm.
I just don't competitively. I'm not afraid of him as much as I would be other players.
Yeah, I mean, I think he kind of has a little bit of that reputation where he's gonna put numbers on you, but you still feel good about winning the game, which is a little bit not mean to say, but that's just the type of player he is. You know that he's gonna play with energy, but sometimes the people around him aren't making shots, or maybe sometimes his energy puts his teams in bad positions or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. So I would agree. I would agree, especially if they're going to be missing Denis, which he's not been a huge contributor, I don't think, right, so far this year. But I mean, any loss is a loss. Let me to your personnel, and let me just real quick. Let me just check out the IR and see are we anticipating them being minus any people?
Yeah. While you're doing that, I remember seeing stuff from creators talking about the Wizards in general, and I hear that they've mainly been putting Denny in like a spot up shooter type of role when he needs to be like a ball handler. Like he I feel like most foreign players, he's a guy who facilitates the ball really well and then playmakes for his guys. And so then just dumbing him down to a spot up shooter kind of makes him not as impactful to the game. But I mean, when you have Russell Westbrook and Bradley Beal on your team, what else can you do? The ball can only go to a certain amount of people at a time. So
yeah, if anything, maybe it's like trying to get Denny to be a better mover without the ball and see if they can find him in better spots. So obviously Denis Avdija is out, 12-week recovery after his hairline fracture in his leg. So he'll be out, but we're hoping for recovery and all that kind of stuff for him. Hachimura is at least as of today, he was going to be out for today's game against Cleveland with a kneecap injury. So that's something to monitor for that.
They're coming off of a back-to-back.
Let me double check because I just had the Wizards. Oh yeah, well yeah, if they're playing Cleveland today, and then they'll play us tomorrow. Yeah, so I mean that's another factor for sure. So Hachimura is out tonight, maybe out tomorrow, and then Thomas Bryant, who is a center for them. So I mean that's some size, man, for a small forward, a power forward, and a center to at least all be out. Thomas Bryant's been out since February. Scheduled to undergo surgery Tuesday in New York to repair torn ACL. So he tore his ACL at some point this year. So I mean, if they're lacking size at all, again, another opportunity I would hope for us to attack the rim, get easy points. You know what I mean? When you're playing a team who has the star power, then the goal is to not get into that position where one or two plays can make the difference. You know what I mean? Because they have the players that can make the difference on one or two plays with Beal and Westbrook. So the way to avoid those kind of situations is to take advantage of the easy points that you can get. You know what I'm saying? Like throughout the course of the game, so that hopefully you stacked up enough of those that were never even in that position to give Bradley Beal a shot to win the game or whatever. Right. So, I mean, I would hope that we as a team are disciplined and, like you said, just able to do the things that we need to do to get that win. So yeah, I mean, especially because again, I mean, we'll just keep saying it for we got like 4 more weeks, 4 more episodes before we're done with the regular season. So we'll just keep saying it for the next 4 weeks. It's like every game. We would want to we want to lock in. We want to feel like we're building some team chemistry. We want to feel like we have some kind of identity, and we want to try to get that win. So I mean that's us for the rest of the year. Yeah. All right, Jake. Well, let me pull up the IR just to see what Miami's rocking with. Even though we just saw them a couple days ago. Tyler Hero's at day to day. We didn't see Oladipo. We didn't see Oladipo the last game, but yeah, or Iguodala. Iguodala is not on their IR as of right now. Only Oladipo is out. Head coach Eric Spoelstra says Sunday that he didn't have an update on his knee status, suggesting he's out indefinitely. So I would say it's pretty safe to say we're not going to get Oladipo again. Maybe Tyler Hero, we did a pretty good job of containing him until towards the end, obviously, right? I honestly, I'm just looking for a lot more attention to detail on the defensive end. I think we will see it, personally. I think it'll be a much. I mean, the only reason it just blew up towards the end. I think it was a really tightly contested game until they hit us at the with something that we couldn't combat, and then I think that made us let up a little bit on our defensive end, and they just just took advantage. I think they were ready to take advantage of it, and they did. So I think that advantage is gone now. Like we've seen it. So I think it's gonna be a way closer matchup. I would love for us to take advantage of our size more. Personally, I do not think that I would want to challenge Bam Adebayo. You know what I mean? I definitely would want to, especially because, like I said before, I had tweeted it out. Like in the small ball era, if you attack the 5 and they go after your shot, that putback is there 9 out of 10 times, and it's either there for a easy 2 or a trip to the line or a something, right? Good things happen when your center goes after that ball, or when the defensive center goes after that ball. So I mean, I want to see that. I want to can we force Adebayo to try to contest a shot and get back into the next defensive putback or whatever. Like that's what I want to see, because I will take Keldon Johnson going for a putback dunk against Duncan Robinson. You know what I mean? Against Nunn or Hero, or even against a Jimmy Butler. Put him in that position. You know what I mean? So I don't know. Those are the things that I want to see. What are you looking at for our rematch against Miami?
Honestly, I would love to see Devin minutes, just because we need a shooter if they are gonna run a zone. Like at that point, it just
agree.
It frustrates me because he doesn't like. I understand in those situations when you want to have Rudy out there instead of Devin, and even somewhat Patty, but come on, man. We need another shooter out there against
Yeah.
the zone. And if they're gonna play a zone against us, he's got to be out like either that or put Lonnie in those minutes. Give him you're gonna have to slide rotation somewhere because you just can't let it be so stagnant when we only have Derek White being our only shooter.
Yeah.
Juan. Our brother Juan had brought this point up multiple times to me, but like he finds it so frustrating to see when we're playing a half court set and eventually in that half court set we see DeMar, Keldon, and Jakob on one side of the court with the ball there. And it's just like, well, they're not gonna teams are not gonna respect DeMar or Jakob on the 3-point line. They might respect Keldon a little bit, but Keldon doesn't shoot threes as much as you'd want him to. He drives a lot and he gets very, very tunnel vision. So it's like, it's like, well, if they're gonna run a zone against that, what are we gonna do? You know what I mean? Like we got to change something up. We literally just got to change our game plan up against that. And like I don't know. I'm waiting for that shooting, all the stuff that you were saying, and like I the one thing that I feel like that game at least showed me, and I mean I always kind of had it in the back of my head. It's no disrespect to DeMar, but I feel like both DeMar and Jimmy have close to the same offensive game. I'd say DeMar has a little bit better, and then on the defensive end, Jimmy's a good defender, but like I think the thing that separates Jimmy and DeMar the most for me is the fact that Jimmy likes to play more in with the offense than DeMar does. And I think like you'll see that where Jimmy didn't have like over 10 points for like the first 3 quarters, but finished with 15. Let me go to the thing to make sure that I'm fully correct. But he didn't have more than 10 points throughout the first 3. He finished the game with 18, 11, and 7, a near triple-double to finish the game off. And so it's like you can say, like, obviously Bam's 25 and 8 really helped them, but Jimmy was the leader of that offense. He's the guy who puts them in the right positions and says, all right, I know Bam's going off, so I'm going to keep giving Bam the ball instead of trying to give my own possessions to get my own rhythm. You know what I mean? And I think that's the kind of thing that kind of separates him from DeMar. And I just like eventually I want to start seeing DeMar start to fit more into the offense if we're trying to make our push.
But I mean, you could easily look at the overall like assist numbers though and see like DeMar is doing a much better job of setting his people up, and most of DeMar's points come in the crunch time fourth quarter also. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like I mean, don't get me wrong. Like I get what you're saying, but it's like like what. So at that point, what is the difference between Jimmy's style and DeMar's style? You know what I mean? Like what is making Jimmy's team that much more effective than DeMar's team? And obviously it's personnel. You one of the things is personnel. Like the personnel that DeMar has is a whole lot different than the personnel that Jimmy has. Jimmy literally has a 6'8" athletic center that he can just throw oops to or throw easy little dumps to get good assist numbers. But I'm saying
and on top of that, they have guys that are their designated shooters. You know what I mean? Like that's the role. And on top of that, you're talking about like the difference between like their team and our team. It's like, they are the 7th seed in their conference. They've only won 2 more games on the season than us.
They're the
7th
seed in their conference when Jimmy was out for the first portion of the season.
True. Like, okay, yeah, he did miss time, and that is true. So let's say he plays the whole season. Maybe they win. Maybe they're at 36 wins, and they're in the 4th seed or something like that.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
I'm seeing them as a 4-3 seed at that point. You know? What I mean?
Yeah. So yeah, you make a good point. You make a good point with that. But I mean, I don't know. I just feel like I feel like they do things very similar, and yeah, maybe it is a little bit about like can we get more from our other guys in quarters 1, 2, and 3 that really allows him to be in that facilitator role, for more of the game versus that where our offense zones in on him, which in turn lets the defense zone in on him. But yeah, so I mean, I don't know. What do you think? You think we're getting the win or what?
Against Miami, I don't know. Honestly, it's tough. That one's gonna be it's going to be another fun matchup because I want to see what our guys do to change up. But then, like,
Same.
we said that against the Grizzlies. Remember that one game where, we lost kind of like it was a tough game against the Grizzlies, and we're like, all right, I can't wait to see what these guys are going to do to try and fight back. We heard what DeJounte had said and stuff like that. And then we came in the next game and we got washed. So it was like I can't wait to see what we do against Miami. But the last time I said that, we got washed. So it's like, I don't know.
And I would agree with you, especially like when I was saying, like, I don't think that Miami has a lot of size. They're not going to intimidate. They don't intimidate me with their size. And so with that being said, if they're going to have a smaller team, I see no problem with having, a lot more Devin Vassell in there to go and defend some of those defend some of those wing guys, give ourselves another shooting option on our drives and all that kind of stuff. I would agree. I think more minutes for Vassell in our would be a good adjustment to make. I don't know about. I think Luka probably. Let me real quick. How much or what was Luka's stats for that one?
I don't think he played against Miami.
He played 4 minutes, had 1 rebound, 0 points, 0 assists. Yeah, so like
those are like, let's see. So Devin also had 4 minutes. Trey had 4 minutes. So that was all.
That was like the end. Yeah. So I mean, I don't know. I don't really know. I'm trying to think back to like would Luka have really made a big difference? But then again, if I'm talking about Miami not being as big, prime example, put Luka in. He's not going to get as outsized. Yeah, I would agree. I would agree. Anytime, and I guess like I know I've been justifying a lot of Rudy's minutes, and most of the time that I've been justifying them have been from the size perspective. So like, I would agree for these last 13 games. If there are any moments where the team feels smaller, then I don't have any problem with Luka and Vassell playing at all. All right, Jake. Well, let's get on to our last one, and we'll just have a little bit of a shorter show today, and that's okay. There's only 3 games this week.
Yep. So the last game is against Boston, and honestly, I'm very excited to finally watch Boston because I mean they've been so inconsistent all year. I haven't been able to really catch a lot of games, but one of my personal favorite players is Jaylen Brown. I just love the way Jaylen Brown is on and off the court. And he's just like a guy that I like to respect. He got drafted around the time that I started watching or started to pay attention to the NBA more. And so then I just I had my eyes locked in on him and just saw how good he was. And honestly, if I could ask anything of Devin, like if he could become, what we really want him to be and stuff like that, I would want him to be a Jaylen Brown, literally like I think Jaylen Brown has like an inch or two on Devin, but a very good team defender that Jaylen Brown is, or no, I'm sorry, that's flip flop, and so then this is where it kind of swaps. If I'm not mistaken, Jaylen Brown's a solid on ball defender, but is not that good as a team defender. As Devin at the moment, you're seeing a lot of really good team defender in him, and then like on man-to-man defender, he's still just a rookie, so it's just he can build onto that.
To be honest, I think most of the time that Devin gets burned defensively, it's more from a like they'll get him on a cut or they'll get a pass right by him and he's just not really watching 100%, or you know what I mean, like versus like a physical thing, or he's not up for it. I think he'll get better for sure.
And so
you are correct though. You are correct that Devin Vassell is at 6'5", 200 as of right now, and Jaylen Brown's at 6'6", 223. So he's able to use his size right now that Vassell really doesn't.
And so then, so that's what I'm saying. That like if Devin can turn into anybody, I would love to see him turn into a Jaylen Brown type of guy, a guy who just becomes a secondary scorer on a team, and on a night on a regular night to night basis, he'd probably give you 16 to 18, but on a good night, he gives you 22, 24. And that's saying, I'm not saying that Devin will turn out to be like that. I'm not going to tell you, this is exactly what I think Devin will be, but I'm saying like, if we could get Devin to be the best he can be, I'd love to have him be like a Jaylen Brown type of guy. I feel like that would be perfect for this team. Either way, going back into it, Boston, I do like Boston in general. Jason Tatum is for me a fan favorite. As well. Like I just love that duo of Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum. I don't know if that's a championship duo that you can build with, but those two players individually, I just love both of them. They're both really good.
Well,
Really strong
okay.
players.
As of at the moment, they are in the 6th seed, but they're pretty deep. They're pretty deep because, like you said, they're led by their 2 guys. But I mean, they've picked up Jabari Parker, who's been playing well for them. Evan Fournier, who I think has been playing well for them as well. But either way, it just makes them deeper. More guys that were. Yeah, yeah. But I mean, you know what I mean. When you add an Evan Fournier, who was like a top 2 option in Orlando, or Jabari Parker, who I don't think he was ever like a top option, but I mean, when you make him your 7th, 8th option on a Boston Celtics roster, like, you know, it stretches his value more and more. So I mean,
they have defense. I feel like most of YouTube creators that I see are either Bulls or Celtics fans. But like, you know, I see these Celtics fans that talk about it, and they have good defenders on their bench. You know, when you hear that Marcus Smart's on their bench, and I think that this kid named Semi Ojeleye, if I'm not mistaken, that's a name that I've heard. He's a solid little defender. So like they have good defensive pieces on their bench. They just didn't have any creation on that bench, and so then you just throw Jabari Parker, who's pretty much a pure offensive player that plays for forward. You know what I mean? Like, you're just like, all right, go shoot the ball, go score, because that's all we need you to do. And then you just
is Fournier starting, or is he coming off their bench too?
I have no idea.
Because I would imagine if you got Jason Tatum, yeah. I mean, if you got Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, and Kemba Walker, right? Does Kemba Walker start for them? I'm assuming, right?
Yeah, of course, Kemba starts for them.
Yeah. So if you got those 3,
Jason Tatum probably plays like that 4, while Jaylen Brown probably plays the 3.
I don't think. Oh, what about Marcus Smart?
Yeah, that's the. Let me look it up real quick.
I would imagine that they probably have, Tristan Thompson. I'm trying to look at who their big men are. Oh, they got rid of Tice, right? He went to Chicago.
So at this point in time, their starting lineup, or at least like what this lineups thing is saying, is Kemba, Marcus Smart, Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, Robert Williams.
So they start Kemba and Smart, and then, like you said, they put Tatum at the 4. Who did you say was their starting 5?
Robert Williams.
Oh, okay, so Robert Williams is on their IR.
So then that means Tristan Thompson's moving up.
So then Thompson is probably going to get there, and then they'll probably plug in some of their younger guys. So then maybe that's our excuse me. Again, maybe that's somewhere where we can try to attack a little bit. Is there second unit interior, presence? Maybe if we just have, not to say that because they're going to be young guys. So with youth comes a little bit of inexperience. You know what I mean? If we can have good poise and have a good decision making around the rim, maybe that's something that can definitely help us keep the game close, make it a competitive game. I'm with Josh. Like, I'm trying to go at least 2 for 1. You know what I mean? So they're going to be tough. They're going to be deep, but I mean, our guards they stepped up to the task to handle Brandon Ingram and Lonzo Ball. We, for the most part, up until the end of the game, did a pretty decent job on Duncan Robinson and Tyler Hero. So I mean, like, I think we have the tools. You know what I mean? I think we have the tools. It'll just come for the rest of the 3 weeks. It'll be, I think we have the tools. It comes down to execution, right? Like, are we going to actually put it together?
For sure. I'm on the side of like I think this week is going to be a little bit tougher. The Washington game isn't like too scary for me. But it honestly can go like it can surprise me. Like if I see them win against us and it looks like it was a good win for them, I'm not going to be like, oh, I can't believe Washington beat us. But it's a game that I'm like, well, we got to be competitive. We got to respect our opponents and win a game. Not necessarily those games where it was like, oh, let's respect our opponents and just beat them. No, it's like, you have to be on your toes. You have to be ready for Washington. But this is a team that I we can beat, like, and it be a good win for us.
Yeah, I
the
agree.
the other two games are going to be way more competitive, and I feel like I'm a little more iffy on that. So just to get your thing real quick, you said 2-1.
I would officially put us at 2-1. Yeah,
Okay.
I would officially put us at 2-1.
You would put us at 2-1. Josh had said 2-1. I'm at 1-2 for the week because I honestly, it can go either way on that Miami game. I feel like the Miami game is going to be the deal breaker here. I don't know. I'm not too excited to see us go against Miami again. And then Boston, they're on a hot streak. So right now I'm not betting against Boston at that point. We'll see though. Honestly, like they.
I will say real quick, just throwing. They could, yeah. Throwing it all the way back real quick to January is when we played them last. 106-110, Spurs won. It looks like we kind of jumped them in the second quarter. We outscored them 17-36 in the second quarter. We played them at home, which is crazy because we normally are losing those games. 21 for DeMar, 18 for Keldon Johnson. That's good. We had 20 points from LaMarcus Aldridge, so that will have to come somewhere else. We had no. This was us playing that before we had Derek White. So we had 11 for DeJounte, 14 for Lonnie, 12 for Patty. Yuck had 4, Rudy with 7, Devin with 3. So we're gonna look a little different. They're gonna look a little different. I mean, I don't know. I feel again 106-110. That's a competitive game. That's a close game, and that's giving up 24 to Jaylen, 25 to Jason Tatum, 14 to Smart, 14 to Kemba. Let's see. They still had Tice, so no Fournier and no Jabari Parker. So there's going to be differences, but I mean, I think we're in the fight for all three of these games, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I'm and me too. Like that's why you see 2-1, 2-1, 1-2, because it's not like it's not like I don't think we're going to be competitive all 3 games, but I just think that we might fall short on the 2 games at the end of this week compared to y'all saying that we're going to be able to come up on those games.
Yeah, and it does bode well for us that Washington's coming up on a second game of a back-to-back. But then we'll be and we don't have any back-to-backs this week, you know what I mean?
It's going to be one of our most restful weeks. It's going to be crazy.
Yeah, before we really have that tough. We got a pretty tough last 2 weeks.
I know, and I want to look at this real quick because if I'm not mistaken, we only have like 3 home games left.
Out of the 13, we had 9 on the road, I believe.
Yep, we have 4 home games left because we have Philly at home, Milwaukee at home, and Phoenix in a back-to-back.
Yep.
So
we'll be on the road. So but yeah, I expect this to be competitive. 2-1. I mean, I'm 2-1. Hoping that we split one between the Heat and the Celtics. I think that's a good week. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Really, all we got to do is just keep pace and keep controlling the things that we can control. We don't really know how. Let's see. I guess we can speculate a little bit. Warriors play Sacramento today. They play the Mavericks on Tuesday. They play the Timberwolves on Thursday, and then they play the Rockets on Saturday. So I mean, those games for sure. The Warriors and the Rockets are the Wolves and the Rockets are probably going to be wins for them. If Dallas can help us out a little bit, I don't think we're catching Dallas. So if Dallas can help us out and beat Golden State, if Sacramento can help us out and beat Golden State, that would be helpful. But I mean, you know what I mean? We do what we can do versus trying to hope what other people can do.
And you had said the Wolves, you would count them out and stuff like that. They're actually D'Angelo Russell just came back and they actually have been doing decently. So it's not like that game might just be more competitive.
Maybe. I was thinking more along the lines of they are now like mathematically eliminated, so I'm not too sure what their motivation is for the rest of this year. You know what I mean? That I guess more so from that point of view. But exactly, 100% what you're saying.
And I think at this point, all 3 of us are on the sense that we are in the play-in. I'm not saying that we're gonna get knocked out by New Orleans. Like I'll say that right now.
I would say we're at the point where I think, remember we had mentioned like last episode or maybe 2 episodes before about like, do we have to kind of reevaluate where we were going to put the Spurs at? I think we're at the point now where like you're where you had us at needs to kind of raise up a little bit, just because we're mathematically we're keeping ourselves in that fight for the rest of the year, I would say.
And then but so I still think that we're probably just going to end up being that 10th seed and probably that one game out. But even then, like, I mean, we're at this point, our trajectory is the play-in. So for me, my mindset moving forward is always just like, well, let's see what these guys can do. Because like, even though I said at the beginning of the year that we weren't going to be playoff teams, like I know what or not that I specifically know, like you can feel what the Spurs want to do, and that is literally fight for the playoffs. You know what I mean? Like when you watch a team like the Timberwolves, you watch a team like the Rockets, you know they're what they're trying to do. They're not trying, well, like they're going out there to be competitive, but they're not exactly going out there to be competitive for a playoff seed. You know what I mean? Like we're going out there to be competitive for a playoff seed. So the way that I talk is the way of being competitive for a playoff seed, even if that's not how I personally feel about the team as a whole.
Yeah, I agree. Just a real quick speculation of taking it one step further. Memphis is weak. They got and we can be on like we'll be on like Memphis. We'll be on like Grizzlies watch and Warriors watch for the next 3 weeks or so. They're weak. They got 4 games. They got 4 games. They play today against Portland, then tomorrow. So they have a back-to-back today against Portland and tomorrow against Denver. That they could easily drop one of those. Then they play Portland again on Wednesday. And then they finished out the week on Friday against Orlando. So Orlando is probably a victory for them. But I mean, 2 games against the Blazers, 1 game against the Nuggets. You know what I mean? Like we could be looking at a 7th, 8th seed. But by the end of this week, if we take care of business. I mean, obviously, tough schedule, but it is what it is. So
for sure.
So we'll be ready to suit up. We'll be ready to do our thing. So I mean, all right, Jake, you got anything else that you want to add before we kind of sign off for the week?
Nothing much other than got to show off the glasses real quick. I know we had got me and our brother Juan had been able to go to the Fiesta night and stuff like that, so we were able to cop a pair of free shades. Pretty nice.
Yeah, nice score. They've been having. I feel like they've been having physical merch like at every game, right? Probably this year, trying to get people to show up and all that kind of stuff.
For sure, every Fiesta night.
Yeah. So yeah, cool. All right, Jake. Well, then, with that being said, then we'll go ahead and wrap up. Thank you guys for anybody who was hopping in and watching us this week. We had some YouTube viewers this week, which is cool. If anybody's ever watching, I definitely, we appreciate the lurkers as well, the ones who just want to watch. That's totally cool. No judgment. But if you ever feel inclined to jump in, if you like something we're saying, if you wholeheartedly disagree with something that we're saying, we'd love to have more points of views and more voices in our discussions that we do on Sundays. So I mean, But regardless, thanks for anybody who watched us and checked us out. Go ahead and give us a like on YouTube or on the Facebook video, wherever you're checking us out. You can find us at on Facebook, on Twitter, on our YouTube at Heroes Half Court. We're there throughout the week. We keep it pretty active, especially on game days on our Twitter account and stuff like that. We do have a Twitter poll. It's got like 4 days left. I think 3 days now, maybe 3 days left on the Twitter poll. It's pinned up top of our profile. Just more talking about Luka and Devin, wanting to see them get some more minutes for the rest of the year. So if any of those things, if you like to talk basketball, we're right there with you. So join us when you can. Thanks. We appreciate it. All right, Jake. We'll go ahead and wrap it up there. So thanks for everybody for checking us out. We are HHC Heroes in Half Court, and we will be back here next Sunday. So until then, go Spurs go, and peace out.